I just posted a couple of videos breaking down the Pixel December feature drop and Android 15 QPR1, and I have to turn right around and talk about the Android 15 update for the OnePlus Open because it is now live in North America. It is installed on my device, and we have a lot to talk about. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this change to the notifications/quick settings. Maybe this is a bug I'm seeing. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but it's what I'm currently seeing. If I swipe down on the left side of my screen, I see my notifications just fine. If I swipe down on the right side, I see my quick settings, but they're all the way over there to the side. I don't know really what to make of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my settings here, and I'm going to turn this back to classic, where now everything looks quite a bit better and like it used to look before. I think I'm going to be more than happy to stick with the old way of doing things. All right, so the first thing that they're really touting here is this new parallel processing system, and the idea is that everything is just supposed to look much smoother. And, you know, look, this is a screen capture, so it's not going to really get this across, but I will say that everything does look to my eye to be very, very smooth. Now, I'm not going to sit here and do the thing you see on the internet, people open and close apps, blah, 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 back and forth. It's ridiculous. Nobody uses their phone that way, but I will again say, things do look very smooth to me. We'll quickly look at their changelog, so maybe that'll explain what it even is a bit better. Industry's first parallel processing architecture, offering parallel response and unified rendering to elevate multi-app switching to a new level. So the way I understand it is basically if you're opening an app, it's playing an animation, and then maybe you close that app while it's in the animation. It just doesn't interrupt it in a janky way. Just it continues playing animations smoothly as you're going from one app to another. It's kind of hard to define, but it's just going to make the device look like it's running more smoothly. If we jump into our Photos application and we check out AI Editor, you will see quite a few new things. AI Detail Boost, AI Eraser, AI Unblur, and AI Reflection Eraser. So these are fairly self-explanatory, but Detail Boost, I think that we might have even had a little graphic here that explains what's going to happen. Enhance image clarity and sharpen details. This kind of reminds me of Pixel's zoom enhance feature, and maybe that needs to be its own video where I kind of compare the two. I zoom into the extreme and I try to compare how both of these different systems are working. I will say that on this photo, which didn't really need a whole lot of help with this kind of thing, I don't really see a difference literally at all, but maybe this is just the wrong candidate for this feature. But we do have other things, right? So AI Unblur, this is like the Pixel Unblur feature. Again, that will probably be tested head-to-head in another video. The AI Eraser, which apparently needs an update. This will allow us to zoom in and circle an object. I really like the animation that they have going. It's snapping to that object, and you can see that it's sort of being erased. And, I think that that's a fairly decent result. If I zoom back out, you can kind of see a little bit of a smudge there, but nothing too crazy. Paint over, remove people. There's definitely some good stuff here with the AI Eraser as well. Again, maybe this will be part of that comparison video. If we jump into wallpaper and style, you'll see this new Flux theme system, and I have not really played with this a whole lot, but let's see what we can kind of do here. So jumping in, that is the wallpaper I'm currently using, and it looks like we can change some style. Okay, so give the lock screen a different look. That's kind of cool. Obviously, you can change the clock itself. You can add some different things to this and the additional info. I like having the weather there. So here on the home screen, you can change between, matching the lock screen wallpaper, setting a color. You can change the wallpaper from this option. You can also apply these same filters to the wallpaper there as well. So that's a pretty interesting idea, and that actually kind of looks cool. But it looks like we do have some other built-in options. So let's go ahead and apply this pretty nice looking little mountain theme. We do have an update to something called live alerts. If you look here at the top of my screen, you can see this little pill, and that is for Spotify. If I click on it, it's going to open up and show the song that is playing. Of course, on your cover display of the OnePlus Open, there is a hole punch selfie camera, and it's going to sort of fit around that. On the inner screen, it makes a little bit less sense because the hole punch selfie is way over here, but they've left that in the middle, so it looks a little bit odd, I guess, being there. This is the dynamic island from the iPhone, sort of just recreated on this device. I do think it looks pretty decent, and it seems like it does okay. But one problem I have with it is that if you happen to use YouTube Music instead of Spotify, well, guess what? You're just not going to have that option. This only works with a few select applications. It looks like floating windows have also gotten some improvements with this gesture control. It's explaining it there, but if you have a floating window and you touch the bottom of that floating window and swipe up, just like you're going home on your full screen, it will close that floating window. But similarly, if you swipe at the bottom down, it'll actually full screen that application. So as you can see here, we have YouTube open, and there's actually a little pill down here at the bottom, just like you normally have on your screen. So let me just grab that and swipe up, and it's gone. And if I had to swipe down, it would have gone into full screen. The changelog also says you can swipe down on a notification banner to enter floating window as well. Now, a couple of interesting things that I want to point out here. If I look at the changelog, I actually screenshotted it and did a scrolling screenshot so that I could see everything. As we scroll through this, visual effects, animations, themes, live alerts, photo editing, floating windows, notifications, and quick settings, and then more. You may remember there was something else in the changelog for other regions. If we jump over here to the community page for OnePlus.com, you can see AI Retouch and then AI Notes. Introduces the new AI Writing Suite, which includes the Continue Writing, Polish, Optimize, Style, all these different AI writing tools. Now, I think a lot of us might have interpreted that to be some sort of system-wide thing similar to what Samsung seems to be doing with One UI 7. But if we jump into the Notes application, you'll notice this little AI button down here, and this looks exactly like what we saw in the video with all of these different options to elaborate, to shorten, to continue writing, and we can see here AI Assistant for Notes. So I don't really know why that didn't make it into the changelog, but it is there, it is on my device, and that's what the feature actually is. It's AI augmentation for specifically their note-taking application. Kind of similarly to that, we had seen in their video that you could use their recorder to record a conversation, whatever it might be, and that there is this summarize button there on the screen. And I did a test recording, and when I hit the summarize button, it says file not supported by summary. So I don't really know what's going on there. It seems like it's kind of in, but I can't get it to work. Another interesting one that just isn't quite working the way that it worked in the video for me, if you go back and look at it, where they took a picture of the dog and then they went into this screen and then the dog's face was sort of coming through this shape in the lock screen. This option for depth just doesn't seem to work for me. I've tried like 4 or 5 different images. None of them work at all. We'll try another one here just so you can sort of see it happen. It looks like it's going to work, and then it loads in and it doesn't work. I can pinch, I can do whatever I want to do to this, and that image just never has the option to do that depth thing. Let me know in the comments if it's working for you. Maybe we can kind of solve this problem for future people, but for me, I just can't get this to work. Another thing that didn't appear on the changelog is that you do now have open canvas on your cover display. So if you're split screening 2 different applications, you can grab that handle in the middle and move it up and down to expand an application, and that will work basically the same way as it works on the larger internal screen. We also saw this pretty nifty looking smart reply feature that was in the little smart sidebar. That appears to potentially be like a region specific thing. There's a reason you don't see it in your changelog, and you probably don't see it in your smart sidebar either. That does not appear to be a thing. And then I think really interestingly, they also mentioned that circle to search would be in, and when I try circle to search, that's also not working for me either. Now, it's possible that that will start working later on sort of on its own. I've seen that sort of thing happen with circle to search in the past, but all my apps are updated. Let me know, is circle to search working for you? It's not in the changelog, but it wasn't in the changelog for other regions either, but they talked about it on stage, so it's a little bit confusing for me. Now, I normally wouldn't spend this much time talking about things that aren't in an update, but considering that, like I keep saying, they had this big long video where they talked about all the features of Oxygen OS 15, another one that just is not in this, and maybe it's there in other regions, you can let me know in the comments, but it's definitely not on my device, is this intelligent search feature where they were doing some really, really crazy stuff. They showed that you could search for a phrase like, how much do I need to pay Golden Gate? And it actually searched through their phone's devices. It found a PDF and looked through that PDF and got that information for them and then presented it to them. This looks incredibly useful, but again, I don't see it. Do you see it? I'm thinking you probably don't. But still, at the end of the day, we do have quite a few new things, right? So there is the AI stuff in the Notes application. I will say that the device does seem very, very smooth. I do want to hear from you guys out there who are having issues with the refresh rate or frame rate in certain apps like YouTube and things like that. If you know what I'm talking about because you experienced it, let me know in the comments. Has this update fixed that problem for you? I think that that will be very, very important. We have the new AI photo editing things, which look like they should be pretty decent. Subscribe for a follow-up video where I compare those tools to that of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. We'll be probably doing that relatively soon. But again, there are quite a few things that they kind of hyped up in their video that either aren't working correctly for me, maybe they're working right for you, or they just don't appear to be in the update at all, which is a little bit confusing. But this is sort of a first impressions, a first look at this update. So maybe this is a situation that will evolve over time. At any rate, though, guys, drop some comments down below. Let me know what you're seeing, what's going on your device. Subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.